Good afternoon. Welcome. Okay, Anthony Stabile.
That tie.
Do you?
I don't ever seen that tie.
Really? A friend of mine was out for me.
Love it.
It's a very expensive taste. It was an enormously expensive tie.
Well,
Figured it out, but
tire.
not getting retired.
Right.
It's going to.
At some point, you're going to retire.
I'm keeping it.
Why?
I like
Lunch?
Who knows?
Keep it.
Fancy.
But it's not a wet tie. Or to either. Done.
I don't go to weddings. Hate them.
Married. You want?
You're not having a wedding. I don't have to do it.
Would you?
It's not going to happen. Seriously. Is it really? Seriously.
But would you?
Take a balloon around the world.
Not happen.
Head over. Yes, you're not a guy or racing way. Good act on keenly where matchman deposit used to match 200 on IRA support racing and as importantly keep the money in the game to not allow it to be to investors. Free bankroll, the fine
Today.
Yeah, you're a big hack. Win anybody in the Derby and the app only, you'll get 20. Your bankroll of Kentucky Derby.
Yep.
I know I got the show. 1 to 3 at S1, 3 to 8 at S2. The races here cover on as well. We got a big 5. Francisco.
Had a good day yesterday.
Overlooked them. I don't know. Seemed like he really had it together, but he didn't even get to the first race. The cross country Big 5, the Aqueduct race. You've got good dangers. Giants caught days in a row. England is running races to female horses for male horses.
The lime.
So it's hard. Today was a big horses that were supposed to be sprint that had gone long and they Hart. I think she's very good. She's a sprinter. Caramel Glass Barn in the right
you
race.
Almost raw. But the Hart move. And here comes the problem with that. Right, it was almost she had 3 in that here. So,
okay, that's foolish as a hand of swirl.
No,
I
it was
will
not.
agree with. That's fair, but let's see going forward. Favorite in there, Chanel Scrap. Who's this? Has got to be
he does it all over. He just does it here for the most. I mean, he's an international scratcher.
Yeah.
One of the week, I think.
Are the picks same? Exact same top 4. Well, I was teasing with David how he and I. It's pretty unusual, actually, and this one right. The horse to beat Scuttlebutt, fine, and tough. I cannot believe the horse that was in front in this race. Thinking Fled was an older horse ago. I mean, this race was over as a race could be. Almost on the 4, and Scuttlebuzz made this up.
And it's not even the lead that Frack had because he only had that Scuttlebuzz pass other 7 horses and had to make him an additional 7 second horse. That was one of the biggest beats I've ever seen.
He was his other sprint. He
was.
I think he's the horse in here. Very fun on the money. Jonathan Thomas is taking. He sees any trainer I've seen in the last 5 run. He's not. They don't.
And you're going to look, if you're using a DRF like we are, first the numbers from last year disappear and they start the numbers for the next 2. So you're going to see Barnes 10-32. More than half of those numbers. So yes, you want to go, but also those numbers now.
Why do you like?
It looks like he's more of a turf, the dirt horse, and grind up dollars. Turf. He's only races.
Turf trainers do they run?
Not only back to his preferred surface, it back to his preferred and sprinting as a racing.
I argue that his form of dirt really back lately, and probably a little better than you. I think there's an in that back wrong spot, wrong surface, back, but also fairly large horse. I'm not a big fan. He did have third sort of attrition. Is the number disciplinarian camp to win his part, and he's had a lot of chances. And he was very Red Mule, dangerous horse. I don't know what. And it's hard to read, but I think he make here hit race in California.
A barn that took a lot of money out there with brought out. This horse didn't take a dime and on a step. So bad. Yeah, an indicator for it was spot on here as well. And now we haven't seen him for I don't want to seen him almost 3 months.
Run well last time. Race number 2 is a very, very, very old race. I thought race number 2, and a horse can beat horse that you and I second. I think as hard. We'll go back to his races back. Race, excuse me, when she lost to 4 and a winning race. Every single day, the winner absolutely to beat her. And here, I think that day,
that's correct.
Beat and ran the best race of anybody. And they took a race kit to see if it was going to be effective going a mile. And she raced outside on a time when you know side, especially the Aqueduct, and part. She was really in her next start and hold together. I think she's the most logical. She doesn't have to win, but I thought she was the most logical.
Highly motivated, broke his race right after that. I had a big double, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, she's a 4-year-old, 8-3. I don't know if anybody.
Good or bad? She probably has less room to move forward.
She probably has less room to move forward, but a little starts of turf.
But they're the most recent.
They're the most recent, and she's another horse that certainly could have went down to Florida with the Serling string. You would
maybe down there. You've taken on top. Her.
Yeah, so Al comes in 3 consecutive second-place finishes. The race against Jouster when she got to Gulfstream, not going to hold that. Jouster won 3 of 4. Then, if I'm not,
she was bad in that.
It was awful. Late 6 times, maybe she had in the turf because
maybe
the
she didn't like the very first courses down.
Or that. So now she gets back to her preferred surface. Climbs. She's going to be like you, Andy. I think strong is tough to make and a little tough. I can make a case for them in here. The other 7 open race. I don't know what's this a little bit of a thing. People say the last turf are that, and maybe a little bit of maybe I can get 6.
Chad Brown. There are 2 Brown runners. Gabby Square. For what it's worth. She is down toward the inside for this race. I would say that she was compensated by the fact that it's just, I'm not imagination, but kind of other make moves outside. She was down that corner. I get why qualified. I care to me. One thing I'll say about it, never got that clear out an unencumbered run, and she's kind of forced near. She wants to get outside. It's a little tight. I think if you look at the race, by the way, I'm going to take it that you know.
But the winner wouldn't have that. She was best, and I won.
I don't know if because all she did was save the entire, and she got the corner. Take a. They saved to cut almost like a joke in the Alan Jerk, the way Joe Rosario cut from almost to second, like an eye.
Yeah.
And she's very, I don't like she's coming out. Very good.
It's not a good, it's not a good race. I'll say this, I felt like best in the last time. The fact that I think I actually saved all the ground, but maybe if we had that, she was making
she might have won the perfect.
Yeah.
Zoiks, Chad in this race. And this break about slow. I'm going to tell you, she better be a different horse this year, and maybe that's why Reed Hendrick on her to do something to get her more.
Look, she was completely lax. Completely weights of a and then she kind of made up some ground late in the game. Those can be a little bit of an illusion because they start, a lot of them are stretching out for the first time, a lot of them like coming back to, and they're going backwards past.
Well, she picked it up.
She picked it up a little bit. The last 3/8 miles, she's bringing her back. Run 9. Right, so you that distance. There's a first start in months. They going 2 turns. Imagine that good, but man, she finds a wide open spot to
improve. The Dubois we've seen in the country that I have done very good in their races. Perhaps that'll change. It's not dissimilar to Frankel's. We've seen Belinda was a good Miss T top. I don't know if she to a Chad Brown-Karovich favorite. A tough beat. I race, and she ran well. And I know going 9 furlongs off a layoff, but she's the now. She's good enough. I'm not sure. Last year is so far out of it that she not this race. She's supposed to be the speed, and I just thought that she'd get a little bit lost in this race, and fair enough. I'll bet the Brown runners and that this body okay to similar to how you. I take something slightly better pace in a race. I think is.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what. You said she'll be in front here because she's facing some horses. Unless they're having speed, or they try and on the set. Supposed to be in front today.
Race number 3 was an interesting and race, and I think there's 2 conversations we had. One is, what do you do with Rump, who you on top first, that I put second, but I would not bet this.
Yeah, started his career 3 consecutive all-turf tries. Then the turf and didn't run any good. Dropped him in, and he got off a little bit of a stumble start and just galloped home. Listen, I that figure again.
Well, the 4th place finisher ran 4 Beyer points worse. I can probably believe the figure. I just know if you can have a real expectation, this horse is improve. I don't know.
Fair enough. If he's in that race, American gentlemen are coming in the same spot here where kind of with their other figures.
Well, he's the conversation who I don't like at all. I do think Rump is dangerous in here. I don't like American gentlemen. I have no idea where that race came from, except it was a big gold rail that day, and he was down side speed. The racetrack of his performance in a huge way. In reality, he isn't even remotely this race. I'm off one. These horses very come back and win. I am scared of the horse. I'm going to try Centavo. I don't. Not comes out of blue. Was second. We'll take the last ace of that. It's a bit of an argument. Centavo finding his wheels inside horses a little bit here. Defense, he did make that good run in the corner, and I wonder if going 7 furlongs would actually be better for less distance. It's not like a bad trip. The track this, I don't know, on the inside. Just wanted to give him one more chance. I thought he was a horse that might be a little bit better than he looked on paper. That I'm kind of hopeful. I mean, if the 4 runs, he's the horse to beat. I thought he was better than Blue Grotto in respect to all the other horses who fast off field last time. Impossible. I didn't have a conclusive opinion in this race other than dislike 8 and 10.
Yeah, okay. I'm a strong opinion here. There's 3 or 4 of them in the pick 5.
What did you like about recreating?
You know, a little bit of a here with the gelding and the Lasix. This is the kind of race where if you're right about American Gentleman, I think you have. It's fair to be a little skeptical of that from Gulfstream here. I think there's a chance for some chaos in here. Centavo.
A lot of chaos.
But I guess I mean with yeah, I'm mentioning Sink goes climbing over, showed a little bit.
Americans two
Yeah, listen,
rode him.
No, he's another one of the top riders here, and this horse has some speed. We'll see.
He does.
I would think he won't be too far from it early. I mean, American Gentleman. You expect American Gentleman not have the 8 of Serling.
Luck.
Yeah.
Off the 6. So I'm going to start out with Fresco's race 2 back. When Eric Ansel moved him way too soon, we'll look at the 3 to a mile. I think he sort of kind of, and I get it. He's maybe.
Did you pick?
I think Fresco's an hour the horse to be in this race. I have no idea why you don't.
You hate this horse.
I picked. I said I moved way too soon, and he absolutely this race. I don't know, December year, but I'm that race him through him. He looks for a sprint. Excuse me, and she's no star. She's certainly on here, and the run. That's a more patient ride by Eric, who I think has some trouble in the turf. I think it's still foreign territory for him. Patient ride in the right. I thought she was the horse to beat. I was hoping there'd be a little pace, and I thought she was logical. You don't like her at all?
No, I don't. I mean,
well, what don't you like about her?
My problem with her was save that race 2 back. I don't know what happened last time. The race 3 back. I mean, she should have won that
No,
race.
she shouldn't. If Silky Blue is a good horse, has a perfect trip, and she actually had traffic in there, and she ran the best race. Well, I'm just going to correct that.
Well, I don't agree with that. I thought she should have won that
Okay,
race.
that's fine.
So my point is...
I wish I could show the replay so we could show why. But watch the replay at home. What about Chocolate Cookie going a mile? And then she's going a mile to 16.
No, forget about the mile races, because I don't think I disagree with you that she's probably better sprinting.
But you picked a horse that's so ridiculously, woefully slow that's only going to take money because of who trains the horse that should be 20 to 1 in this race. I mean, go ahead with more glitter. That's fine, but you. I mean, listen, she's 10 to 1. That's fine, but I don't.
Ran this horse second time in her career after not running that terribly as the favorite in her debut on dirt on the turf. Off the turf. She
Pretty
disappears for a year.
First time.
Gave her a race off the bench. I thought maybe they were getting her ready to go long on the dirt again. Instead, they put a race into her to get her into a turf sprint. I think she's going to be a square price. Okay. Maybe she'll take more money than she should because of the connections, but I think she's going to be a square price. I want to take her at a price.
I looked at her. I'm not, listen, she's a flyer. I got no problem with the flyer in here. I disagree with you about the 3, but she is a flyer in here. The other Clement horse, doesn't he have another horse in here? No. Yes, it's Snicket. Now, Snicket's a hanger. I think she's got a chance to get a piece. I think the question was Guardian Moon. I mean, how do you feel about Guardian Moon? She beat a very, very weak field last time, and now she hasn't run in 8 months, and it's not a summer layoff. She didn't run at all after that race. She would have to improve, but I didn't think she was impossible. She was the other one.
I thought she was the one. I mean, with Loon Lake in here and Karamoka, she should have a target or 2 to.
Well, she's going to be forward here.
I think she's going to do what she did in her debut. She's going to sit right off whoever the speed
Herald
is.
Angel.
I know.
Listen, that's my problem. She beat such a bad field.
I know, but
I put her second. I'm not. What about the 8 Moana's Tail?
Yep, first time Bill Mott.
Okay.
She's been gone
from
a while.
Danny Gargan.
She's from Danny Gargan, and she's been gone a while.
Why do we think she's a sprinter? That's the problem I have with her. I just wonder if she's better going a little bit longer, and she's got to improve, and she's, as you say, been gone 9 months.
Right, is this just the jumping off point?
Not impossible.
Right, not impossible. I think she's interesting enough, and one that will probably be a big enough price to justify throwing in a backup ticket or 2.
Okay. We disagree about Fresco. We'll see what happens. Race number 5 kicks off the late pick 5.
The Top Flight.
Top Flight. Interesting that Flash and Dynamite is still in, because she's 1 to 5 if that Plenty of Grace should come off the turf tomorrow. So I imagine we are committing to pretty much running that race on
With the
turf
one
tomorrow.
turf race, I would imagine
Yeah.
that was the game plan.
Yeah, because otherwise you would thought they would consider Cratchit because he's obviously a huge price in here.
And it goes from an 8-horse field to about a 3-horse
We'll start
field
out with the
tomorrow.
horse to beat. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't. The others just can't run the dirt. Horologist, the horse we have on top. I'm a big fan of this horse. I think she's very good. And I know they come off layoffs, and you always have to be concerned.
You
about
on her
them,
early last year.
but she's a good horse.
She is. She's a really good horse. Not going to hold the race against Monomoy Girl against her 3-back or the Breeders' Cup where she kind of just was in contention and faded pretty early in the game after a long season. You know, when you consider everything, the fact that she made 7 starts between March and November, that's a pretty long season. She was as good as it gets. One of the best races she's ever run here in the Beldame, where she was just geared down the last 16th of a mile or so. Returns for Mott from 5-month break. She's supposed to get.
She's the horse to beat
she's the horse to beat
if she runs a race. I think the question is obviously Mrs. Danvers, and Mrs. Danvers probably wished that Flash and Dynamite scratched. She was ultra aggressive last time. Now 2 starts back when she just trounced the field. I mean, this was the kind of performance that a lot of us had waited for when we thought as a 2-year-old she had a chance to be a huge player in the division, the 3-year-old division, and she just took forever to get it going. But in fairness to her, I mean, her race at Belmont, she ran high 80 buyers. It's not like she didn't run, respectable races in there. I don't think the track helped her, but being loose in the lead at a moderate pace.
Miss Marissa getting ripped off the pace and her finding herself on a loose lead.
Bad ride. Yeah, I mean, she had everything her own way, but she still ran very well. Did she need a race last time? I got to tell you something. She was awful last time.
But in her defense, I think after seeing how successful she was in the Comely, the plan was to get to the lead. Now, Safi Joseph ships Queen Necky up here. I cannot remember the name of the other. The
horse who was speeding there finished 4th. She finished well ahead of Mrs. Danvers.
That was the other Safi Joseph.
But she finished ahead of Mrs. Danvers. She lost to the other speed.
They dueled, and Queen Necky
But Mrs. wasn't a rabbit for Queen Necky. Queen Necky was 30 to 1.
Yeah. No. I'm not saying she was. But they went a pretty good clip down there. And she was done pretty early in the game last time. I'm a little.
I thought she was bad last time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe she needed a race, but I'm going to give her another chance.
Okay.
Because the reality is, if Horologist needs a race of a last, I'd prefer her to Lucky Strike. Now, I'm surprised. You don't have Lucky Stride 1, 2, 3, 4?
No, I have she's the famous 5th.
Wait, right, there's only 5 horses in the race, basically. So she's your last choice of the contenders. But you don't think that she's somewhat logical? I mean, my problem is, I don't like the 2 at all coming up here. I don't know where her last race came from. I want to see it again now.
Well, her last race kind of came from the fact that they went pretty good up front.
And she had a perfect rail trip. The rail may not have been a huge edge, but it did seem like a good place to be looking at the race at Gulfstream that day. And I want to see her coming up from Florida and run back to that race. In fairness to her, it was her last race. Maybe she's an improved horse. I want to see it again. She's the one that I'm against near. You're against the 4.
Yeah.
And Thankful, I can't take Thankful. Her last race was just pathetic. Pathetic.
I don't know what happened last time.
She was pathetic, and they didn't bet her, and she was awful. She never ran a step.
She was awful last time.
She turned back into a
Lake
pumpkin.
Avenue took all the money. She was the second choice in the Lake Avenue.
But there were 2 horses.
You thought
in
it
the
would be
race.
closer. Yeah.
They were supposed to be closer, and Lake Avenue got bet like the race was over.
4 to 5, 2 to 1,
right? They weren't. She paid. Was 670. She didn't look 670 in a 2-horse race. Lake Avenue was running the exact same figure she was in 2 straight races, and she had the races up here. They were supposed to be about 6 to 5 and 8 to 5 in there.
She was dead the whole time.
Dead the whole time. And she ran dead.
She didn't run 2
Maybe
steps
she'll run
last
better
time.
today. But even if she runs her best race, I'm not sure she's good enough. And Horologist, she's pretty good. We'll see if Horologist can come back as a 5-year-old. If she can, she's a player in that division.
Yeah, no question about it.
All right, we got 4 left. We will be back after a quick break.
No sport in the world brings the wins home like racing. It's one-of-a-kind, high-speed, high-stakes action, and Naira Bets takes you there. Place your bets and watch the races live from anywhere. With Naira Bets, make easy, secure deposits and promotions every day to earn reward points or cash. Download the Naira Bets app or visit nairabets.com.
Welcome back to Talking Horses. He is the Big A, Anthony Stabile. I am not. Race number 6.
Got distracted for a second. The Raging Bull replay's on.
Raging Bull's performance at Keeneland yesterday, in my opinion, is one of the better performances a mile we've seen in this country in quite a while. He was too close to a fast pace that fell apart.
He deleted the 8th pole.
He made the blue almost top of the stretch. He moved too soon, and every time one of the horses in the race, they kept coming out. I mean, I thought I was watching in the car. I'm yelling wire, and he just kept running away from them. They kept trying to run at him, and he kept maintaining his lead after moving too soon. He got a 105 buyer. That was a sensational performance.
That's his fastest number by far, right? 101 maybe prior to yesterday.
No, he had run 105 before.
Oh,
he had a 105 when he won a state. What state did he win last year?
Shoemaker, California.
Maybe that was it. He ran a 105. Anyway, race number 6, speaking of turf and speaking of California, let's look at Noble Thought. Last race losing by a nose. My problem with Noble Thought is, man, he's got no speed.
None. Zero zilch. None in a race where, I mean, I guess you got Beta and you have Manifest Destiny, but you know, they're not, I mean, Heroes Hopeful. I have no idea. There's no dependable speed in here. I can tell you that. And like you said, this horse just has zero gear in the early running.
But the problem with our horse is he's not that much faster. I know he's a little closer last time, but he doesn't have that much more speed. Jose Ortiz is going to have to find a way. And both guys, Kendrick's got to find a way to get him a little more in the groove, but I don't know how he can. And when Noble Thought won here, those nose races, he got absolute dream trips to win those races.
And listen, the horse we picked is just taking a pretty significant class drop here.
I agree.
I mean, he's faced some, you know, relative killers compared to what he's going to face today. So I think, yes, they have similar running styles. If the morning line holds up, I really want Vittoria Kin over Noble Thought.
Well, I don't think the morning line's stacked wrong. Noble Thought will be favored in here. I don't trust. I don't have total trust in this Vittoria Kim. This horse hasn't won a race since I was in short pants. So which was about a week ago.
I was going to say, yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the problem with this race is that I have to share the text I just got. I'm not going to tell you who sent it. Are the concessions open in the casino yet?
And I know the person who sent it?
It's very sad. How would I know?
Oh. I think I know who it is.
I don't think you do, because you won't believe it when I tell you who. It just seems there's such limited options here. Because you go to the race, Gearhead. All right, he's not impossible.
Not impossible, but
because where else do you go in here? At least he's got a recent win.
He gets beat at Gulfstream in the condition in the time races, and got to go to Tampa to win.
And, you know, and he's another one who has no speed.
Bet that horse in the last race yesterday, huh?
He's got no speed. Yeah, he's got no speed. Well, he should have been betting the last race. King of Spades. King of Spades wants to go 11 or 12 furlongs to run his best races. His races going shorter on the turf are weak. You start going through. Ogno's races are abysmal. Beta, who has no real degree, though, the generation really.
He's just skipped over his destiny.
He can't. Chief Know-It-All. He's at Canada Turf Paradise. Tires. He was always better on the turf. He hope. His turfs are sort of was dirt. So I was dirt recently, and I've bet this race.
That was a line. You see this thing, you're just kicking yourself.
Well, $20 claiming, and the reality is
$1,000 pop.
There's only 4 horses that have room for win, and it's just there's got to be some goofball horse today. By the way,
be a goofball of these to the lead that have a while and just $60.
Race yesterday that was won by Todd's horse.
With the back?
No, the other claiming race. I have no idea why Chad Brown was 6-5 and 4-1. And 2-1.
1 and 5-2.
The horse who finished third and was beat as top for second. About extended there. Very good chance. Time.
7. The him of the one to speak.
And we talked 40-1 talking about him. I was making the case. I think I was Greg. There's horses left good enough to be a in this race, and he could be the speed. He beat if you play 40 to 20. People.
I mean,
people have to about late that horses W play computer guys. They focus and so people can't believe that he went to the lead. They're betting speed horse. It's not surprising the horse went to the lead, and that's why the money he should to one.
Does that manifest destiny in this race? I mean, he had on the turf, obviously. All I'm saying,
races are atrocious.
Yeah,
I don't like them.
No, I don't like. There's no speed in here. I mean,
what about Beta? Beta's going?
I mean, he's as fast. His destiny wants to lead.
It's that.
I think he'll be if he wants.
We need to move on. We're on conversation. Manifest Destiny and Beta. Race 7. This was matches with particular major this race. The question becomes Yankee whether or not he's absolute speed or any number of others like when 6 can go. Let me ask you a question. Swing not at the layup.
You would imagine.
Frankly, how does the road not go? What's he doing? Not going to go.
Yep. The good thing if today is he has rated one. You think he's going to have to today to dodge both of those horses from not going to the lead. One August is drawn inside of him. The other in from Valley. I have to imagine you're going to send one of those two. He before. It's not that for me. Into had Mal on
the
top.
The Yankee division, I scratched for second. Thrill with him. I don't understand, but we'll get to that in a second. He gold rail in 2. He's totally now obviously lost to a very person mystic. Last ran, but still had 2 rail division year and heavy face. And he's dressed up, so he is. And there's I would have either the 2 or 7 second had I realized that they were going to scratch 5. 3. It's because I really liked the 5 and 3 in the race and thought they were very solid 2. Who thinks that's a good idea, by the way? Anyway, as an aside, my head just blew up trying to look at it. As far as top 2 horses, stat day play on his numbers are exceptional. This, of course, applies to tech. These numbers, and anyway, because I numbers because sometimes they're dramatically different because he'll bring back stream. And for 20 and I are 30% with either exact. This is a very, very impressive stat. The ROI is incredible. Look at it to do with this, but this is one of those toddlers, at least 3-year-old, might be okay. You're going like Arham. Arham looks like a Gulfstream percent. Got to be Kendrick going a mile, wasn't he?
I mean, he was one of those horses. To me, he didn't look comfortable with Gulfstream.
The last time you said that, didn't look comfortable with Gulfstream. Like them here, they ran last second to last.
Was it?
Todd, 2 Todd horses that ran here a couple weeks ago, and you gave us the speed. Didn't look good in the park. Thought they were on the surface, and they just
by 10.
Actually ran. Remember it.
No,
the
old Gullo horse.
That's not. They ran nowhere. It wasn't the old horse. They were race. In fact, they were race. And look it up. Versus you got to. You're trying to tell me the horse didn't like the surface. Come on.
Yeah.
Around 110.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying, listen, he didn't debut until words in people.
You say you like the surface.
Obviously had issues. He didn't debut until the 3-year-old.
Fine. That's fine.
I mean, am I going to dismiss him in here?
Stretch down the dirt at Naira. Todd Pletcher's 21%, $199 and $1.09 ROI.
Yeah, and listen, man, it was the fact
20%, $1.26.
Well, the route, he's going off 1 mile.
This is right. Roger Weed and Bold Agenda were the two. We can get the video.
Sure, Roger Weed.
What?
We saw. Weed's on.
About family business third. Family business was compromised last time. That starter got very conducive. Especially nobody runs from places. The time before old rail, Blessed came right up the rail. And I was against cheap. Fast enough to go. Yankee Division, if he runs as good race, but Yankee Division may be very tracks in a row.
He could be. They're getting back to what your division wants to be. You could argue the same thing for fans. I don't. Since rolling that time, and now he gets.
Well, he was horrible figure. That track his back figure. He just getting into it. I thought he was interesting and a bit of a price in here. I kind of want to see. I would like to bet. He beat me by lunch yesterday. Mm-hmm. Close. Yours won.
I know.
In fairness, gate the when my horse did, but round so bad, I can't. That's a bit like embarrassing.
It's nice of you.
He did try. But
no, it's
got bet so strongly and run at all.
I mean, then you say because
he didn't run at all. It's fine. He knew something. I think
that exactly. We should.
No, I'm an idiot. It was very close with the one got now. I think the winner ran the regardless.
Yeah.
Race number 8, the Dangers. Do you remember this hour?
Don't.
Late 8.
I mean,
it was Ertoga. There was a discussion. I think it was the last weekend of the meet. Was a junior horse. Danger Hour either won in the silver or vice versa. No, I got
this. I
so
this. I
kind
of up.
You think they put?
They put up.
There's a disqualification evolving. Love those angels. Cool blue hot. One of my favorite. As far analyze it. Lyle in 2008. It's unbelievable. This was 2.5 years ago.
Was that Maggie? Maggie and I were paddock for RN.
Awesome. Here, ran. This was heartbreaking. What about a race? Even watching right race he ran. He fought on every and right. He just got nailed. And
people don't look at the time. And that don't realize how fast man that day.
He was
best race of his career by
he was tremendous in that race. I agree. Never run a
nope.
Here's my concern about him. He came and he got a buyer. Talking about in the turf. Do you think he race compared to this cup? I mean, look at that.
I don't want to. And Joe Bravo put this horse. He was. You want a perfect race should be. He did the right. The horse had to run in.
Star loves a buyer more than.
Wish to buy the race to that 6th race.
I would like him.
Six.
He'd be a good. He got clean, I think. Kathleen O'Connor.
Yeah. Be 6-5 in a single today. Be perfect. Be very easy.
What would he race?
Forget it. Yeah, I mean, he ran so.
I don't try. Listen, race 6. He's existing. Source has big problems. Quarter crashes.
2 years. So you got big issues.
I want him to run well.
Months.
Friends with Lawrence. Love to see him run well. The source. Just don't try.
I mean, a 2 and then a big break, 7-month break to trust him. But
He'll win for fun if he runs his race.
and I think
Bury his horse.
I think this is the kind of field where he's a little more confident in if his race. Yes, he has his race. To me, if he runs his race, running for second month.
I could not agree with that. Best horse in this race.
I confidence in that, and quite frankly, he might not.
Worries.
But he over there with too. No, I'm not throwing these to. Kind of if he does that, more confident going to do that, and one of the other is going to come with a big effort.
Let's talk about Deck Invader. I took a lot of heat last year because they were Invader because I don't think he's a good horse because he's but was losing the hills to Get Smoke. Always a very good. We just here people were talking about Invader. He was some sort of really special 3-year. He was eating bad fields and getting mediocre. Always felt that he'd be better. He didn't get a lot of chances to run mile races. He ran well, better in mile races. There's a 4. There are more important races in a mile.
He's got a chance to
he's got to prove.
No question.
He's enough to win. Also a new because every right to take a real.
Has every right to step forward. We talked about this yesterday. Maybe we're playing. You know, when you back and take another. Yeah, he does have to get better. You would assume that with maturity turning 4 that's going to happen. He might just have issues because and if
me and Jim,
look at the last 3 races of the year. Yeah, the figures are all.
They're fine.
The racing man.
Maybe he didn't like it.
Yeah, I think the
Norman horses. They're, you know, he runs his step forward.
Doesn't show up.
Realize it. There are reasons not to trust
him.
You know, listen. It's not like Rinaldi's a bum. I know he's still okay in races, and he's supposed to be in this race.
Last year, I was a
fan. Delaware, the horse I picked. As far as Delaware, I think are hung that is good in this race. And I what the caller at what time he wasn't in the he never saw Delaware. But my suggestion to you of the Tampa Bay, because he doesn't have significant trouble once. He has significant trouble twice. Look at the race here. Inclination, my God. And you say, well, badly it got over that. Oh, he's not a mile number 1. Too close to pace that can evaporate. And he's actually off that race. He gets this ridiculous trip last time at Tampa. I'm better shorter way. So 7 to a mile. Yeah. But I don't know that this isn't going to be fair in this race. And Delaware's going to get lost in the last 2 lines. And excuses. Likely is what the imagination. If he's able to him, the Invader 2 7 to 5.
Imagine he'll that price. And here's what was shorter. But I mean, I think you'll get 6, 8 to 1.
It's going to take more money. I think they're on him. I don't know.
No, me.
Be fair, speed and Kendrick. This race late was pretty the Black Gold. Actually, something happened in the War Champ, and that was a wildly tough race he was in. So it's like one of his best turf horses going a mile. So it's not like he had. I don't dismiss. I mean, if argument the Decorated Invader can move is a new 4-year-old. Why can't he? I mean, I really like it. Can't he?
I feel like those do all the fairgrounds. It's almost like when what happens. Just happens at the fairgrounds.
Race number 9.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Mason race. Look at his last
3 to
race.
5?
He was second. Big month late. Could be short.
He went on this past winter with these gargons. I know he's all into the bottom competitive races and two of the competitive in for and he's been gone this long. Why is he in for the quarter? Because obviously, I mean, he's gonna even money. Even money.
He's no superstar.
No, he's not a superstar. But I mean,
he ran well in this race. I had him that day.
He ran that race.
He was with the track that day, though. The race was good that day.
If he runs the race with a race back, win.
To win this race.
I'm not. I think Pavement is going to win the race. I couldn't take a short price off that
How
break.
is he second to Pavement?
Hicklin's much different than cities.
What do I think? It's a race where there's significant new faces that are interested. Possible to get a piece of this. Back to Mr. Annoying matched again. He's coming, Mr.
I found out about
the
saying Rishi.
Looks like it's cold.
It does. There's too.
As far as other horses, one of them is for new building gets late and against a little first time they ran the then ran the track. Why can't hang out run a little bit in here? Don't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm not sold on Pavement's horses.
What about? I don't have Micro Me in here, and he lost the start. Now, bet, but pretty strong. Now he switched. A little interesting.
I think the fact that they lost all chance to start, and then I give him another shot back. Sense to me.
He's a home head. I don't.
Makes no sense to me, Andy.
You really? You think he's
going
to win a
was all,
you disagree.
His day was all.
We have to. We will. I hear you disagree, and Charlie's going to in here. I hear you with. I understand the second choice horse to bet again. We disagree.
I the morning line. If I knew second choice, I probably would have taken a shot with Hotel Charlie. Put Pavement. I think you got to have it. You got to be one winner.
Disagree. Don't disagree. Pleasure. Should we tomorrow?
Sure.
You ready? Hanging out today?
No.
Casino to get. I remember.
I know who.
Last special.
Yeah.
Incorrect.
Well, okay.
I told you anyway. I had a promo 200. For $200 to Naira. That's what we got. Bet 50 on Arkansas through the app. $20 back for Derby weekend. Win, lose, or draw. What else we got? 5, 7 here, and then we got 6 for 52. Finally, on from 1 to 8, 5 up there and do that. 1, 3, 8. Oaklawn. Day, Anthony.
Hello, racing fans. Once again, Aqueduct. And shining here at the big end. We've got a clutcher. That's the turf. No portals in. Now we'll go to the changes on the 9 race car. The first race, number 3, flag. At number 7, Zoix is races 3.